Hello, welcome back again. Mm, it's so good to see you here. I have to say, it's quite vulnerable to kind of sit across from myself and actually see myself almost as if I was sitting across from a client. Whew, I can feel the intensity of and vulnerability of how it is to be a focus of my own attention. And now I have I have respect for what it might feel to be one of my clients sitting across from me. So, wow, okay. Let me grab some Kleenexes because I think what I'm going to share today is probably going to be a little vulnerable. So, um, just kind of bear with me. So, I'm going to use this. Um, I'm going to celebrate this moment as my first ever giving myself permission to record myself for my first step podcast. I've done other podcasts in the past where it was just audio, but it is a very different thing to be able to teach through a video platform. Because I know sometimes I enjoy watching the people that I'm hearing them teach from, but what was very clear in what wanted to come to me and through me today was more of a foundational piece of who I am, where I've been, where I am now, and my intention of how I move forward. And if you listen to my very first audio, adjust the screen. See, you're kind of seeing me kind of go trial and error as I go. Maybe if you listen to my first audio, you heard that I wasn't going to shrink this time, and that was last year. I don't know, maybe over the summer, and I'm going to call myself out. And it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to call yourself out. Um, because I did shrink. I did hide. Um, I, by some, I was meeting some unconscious need of mine by shrinking and refusing to be seen. Refusing to be seen as maybe a teacher, an authority, or a pioneer. Was afraid and vulnerability is not my strong point. If you've been following me or knowing me for any length of time, you know vulnerability is not my strong point. I am very good at being useful. But as I've learned in my 42 and a half laps around the sun, vulnerability is a strength. And that I feel like this is a very foundational transmission that's coming through, because I feel like I'm peeling a little bit more open of myself and allowing myself to be seen. And let's just call it what it is. In today's world, it is you can be called out for anything and everything. You could call out for my decor or how I'm adjusting the screen is not professional enough. You could be calling out because maybe you don't like the color of sweater I'm wearing today, or maybe the color of my makeup, or how I'm talking, or maybe you're going to be fact checking me to death. There's so many reasons why it's so afraid to be seen as fully of myself. And what I feel gives me the strength and I feel grounded in this is I've made an oath to myself, and I've made an oath to my creator, my source, that I am committed to being a vessel and a conduit in the teaching of love. And I can only do that by surrendering to what I'm being called to do. And the reason why I even have the audacity, maybe not audacity, maybe the courage, that's the right, beautiful, the courage to come on and talk about my past trial and error process, my breadcrumbs, my omen through my past history until where I am now, and my intention moving forward, is that about a year-ish ago, I came upon the study of a technology and a system called human design. I like to call it a system and a technology because it combines many ancient and current teachings, from personality to psychology to more spiritual. It combines many different systems into one to help people learn about how their body and their mind are wired. And I love that because it goes hand in hand with what I teach about individuality, with how I approach my work, my vocation in life, and why I don't subscribe to anything homogenized. And what I feel I'm called as a vessel of love and truth, not your truth, but my truth, that there is no one way to do anything. The only right way is the way that works for you. And you cannot get that teaching from your traditional schools of thought. So I feel in the past where I've been vulnerable about not sharing what I'm studying, because it is very abstract. I'm combining my teaching of human design, and I'm combining what I'm learning about the way of mastery is very deeply personal and very deep spiritual process for me. And as I've learned more about human design, of how my brain and body are wired, or my mind and my body is wired, that is exactly perfect for me and my experience and my experiment in this life. So for some of those that might find this woo, okay, you can find it woo, that's okay. But what I feel that this is important for me to be able to teach and to be honest about, I feel that's why it makes me a perfect person for you to learn about a way of health that is right for you. And my truth isn't your truth. I think that was one of the biggest things that I don't like about being a guide or a teacher in the way of natural health, is that I don't want you to take my truth as your truth. I've come to my understanding of my experience and my truth by trial and error. That's the way I've meant to learn. And then I am here to be able to share what I've learned and what doesn't work. And if you want to go and trial and error that and what doesn't work for you, be my guest. That's important. I'm going to turn these. I thought I already turned these notifications off, but they still seem to be coming through. See, I'm not editing this out. See, I'm perfectly perfect. And I feel like for me to be able to share where I'm coming from today, I'm in my 20th year of being a natural health and wellness practitioner and educator. And I'm humbly always going to be a student of life. And where I've had to call myself out and get out of my own way and get out of my own head is I'm always going to feel insecure about not knowing enough or not being good enough. I'm going to feel unstable or have instability or insecurity around not knowing enough before I'm able to share it. And what is so silly about that is I know I have gleaned so much wisdom in my past, between a lot of trial and error with my health and trial and error with business and trial and error with coaching or mentoring, that I have so much wisdom to share, not in a pound my chest like I'm important, look at me. No, I give all the glory to my creator, because I know I'm a vessel and I'm a conduit for my creator to work to me, through me, in me, as me. And I am confident that you can feel that resonance, that it's not from an egoic, arrogant, narcissistic type of, look at me, I'm so important. Because I have had so many challenges in feeling confident in sharing, from that fear of fully owning the power that I have being in my truth. And it's a huge responsibility to be able to own that. And that has weighed on me. That's why I have unconsciously sabotaged myself in the past. Carl Jung, he's one of the grandfathers of psychology. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, you will keep living those lessons and you will call it fate. That means that, all these self-sabotaging things that we all do, it's like, for example, like if you keep repeating patterns of dating the same kind of guy, or you keep earning money and then overspending or losing it, or if you keep, getting a job and then failing at that same job, or gaining and losing the same 20, 30 pounds, it's all the same thing. Do you think we really want to purposely, consciously self-sabotage those things? It comes from an unconscious place. And until we make that unconscious conscious, we will keep making the mistakes, or not mistakes, but we keep repeating those patterns, and we will call it fate. And that really sunk in how I was not showing up to teach, not showing up to be a creative role model. It's almost like, if you've known anyone that's been in shamanic type of studies and they do that kind of healing or guiding work, it is a huge responsibility to be a facilitator to help people in their own health. Because I'm not here to fix anybody. I'm not here to do it for you. I am here to live my own experience, trial and error at the process, share what I've learned of what doesn't work, so that you can glean wisdom from that and apply it to your own life. No different if you're on my massage table. I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to guide you to in where you desire to want to be, and to guide you in your full self-actualization. If I fix you, then that makes me responsible, not you responsible. I think, and it might be shown differently, but that sign has been in my practice for probably almost the whole 20 years. It says, no one can listen to your body for you to grow and heal. You have to take responsibility for listening to it yourself. And that comes from Jon Kabat-Zinn. He's a mind body stress MBSR, I think, mind body stress. What's the R? I'd have to look that for you. But I feel that is important, because I'm not here to fix you. That would make it my responsibility. And I would have to feel that's where I messed up a lot in my earlier career, is that I took responsibility for my clients' health and well-being. I was responsible and took ownership if they succeeded or not, or if they kept the weight off or not, or whether they got better or not. And as you can imagine, that is a very codependent relationship that really cost me a lot of my health and well-being, causing me to strive and work harder and work longer hours. I was toxically ambitious at earning my own worth. Such an adrenalized mind F, if you will, about just chasing after my own worth. And what has really shifted is that I know I am worthy. I don't have to earn my own worth. I don't have to earn my creator's love in that way, a sense of, because there's nothing that I lack. There's nothing that I lack. If I need something, it is that perception that I lack something. And so I don't need anything. I have everything I have within me. And I feel that comes from a very empowered place and a very empowered stance more than ever. And I want to kind of go back to like my handle on Instagram and Facebook is called The Health Warrior. And I didn't come to that in my own volition. I think my eldest sister and a few other close clients and comrades of mine, I asked them if I were to create a page or a name or a handle, what would it be? And they came up with The Health Warrior. And it was like, that's actually perfect. Because and I'm going to lean on the study of human design and our 9 different centers that we have in human design that are located in our body. I did not grow up with a very robust health. I've had to, I think to the extreme of things, trial and error my way through so much of that. I remember, I don't remember this. My mom shared with me when I was 2, I was in the hospital with pneumonia. And I feel from there, I felt like I was constantly sick. I was constantly getting double ear infections, tonsillitis, you name it. I feel like I was always sick, respiratory wise. I had my tonsils taken out, my adenoids taken out, tubes put in my ear, I think when I was 8 or 9. And, I remember being sick so often. And as, and as I've grown up and even through college, I remember getting sick a lot. And when I originally went to pharmacy school. For those that you didn't know that I originally did, I did 3 years of pharmacy school of a 5-year PharmD program. So to be honest, in my 3rd year, when I went to apply into the College of Pharmacy, I didn't get in. It was very competitive. And many of, at that time, I viewed it as a failure, that I failed my family. I failed myself. But honestly, if you look at the breadcrumbs, and I can trace back to all of the different things that set me into my trajectory of where I am today, that was a very pivotal moment. It was like the universe and God was saying a big no, that's not where you're meant to be. I feel I was called to be where I am today, to be able to teach, to even have the courage to teach what I know about health and well-being. But I think that was a big closed door and a big no. And it set me on a different healing trajectory, that after being rejected from pharmacy school and thus deregistering from pharmacy school, I lived with my second eldest sister for a year, and it fell into my lap going into massage school. And massage really came to me naturally. It's been it doesn't really, it doesn't, it hasn't ever felt like it's been hard work. Yes, it's physical work, but it's it's like I've been a natural at it. And I don't do this in a way of pounding on my chest because I did nothing. Yes, I went to school. I had to do that, but I did nothing to receive this gift. I just did the work to pull it out and to cultivate the skill more in depth and be out in the world to offer it to people. So after not making it through into pharmacy school, I then went into massage school. And it couldn't have been more of an easier, right fit. I'm going to turn my little space heater down. And then after massage school, and I went into practice for myself, I realized that I wasn't doing enough hours of massage to provide for myself. So I became a personal trainer. That was another easy transition. It was, if you really look back, and again, the breadcrumbs that are in your life that set you in a trajectory, it was like it's very distinctive when I was trying to force things and I didn't listen to my gut and my intuition. That's when things went wrong or awry. When I paused and I waited and I listened to my gut and my intuition, it was very important to recognize that it was like the universe and God's way of saying, yes, this is the right path. And I totally believe in, and not just believe in, I trust and I know that there's more breadcrumbs, more gut intuitions that I will trust into knowing of what my yeses will be. I don't need to know the whole road, the brick road right now. I just need to say yes to the very next thing that feels right for me. It's all in response to what I'm feeling called to. And if I can look back again, when I listened to my gut and it told me no, and I did it anyway, I really got myself into trouble. And that was very clear in how I messed up a lot with the people that I worked with that worked at TAB. And if this ever lands into any of their laps or their ears, I hope they know that. I hope that they know that I'm sorry for what my ignorance when you worked with me. Because I know I was the toxic one in those work relationships. And I know I caused a lot of pain probably in people's life because I didn't have the right skills to treat people in a more relational way versus transactional way. So if any of you hear this, I want you to know that I'm sorry. And and I know that if you would see how I am in my business today, I know you would know that although I did the best that I could at that time, that's not enough. And I take responsibility for how I treated you and how I effed things up. And they were really special people in my life that, you know what, I really messed up in those relationships, especially those work relationships. And I'm sorry. And I know that the way I operate and the growth that I experienced, I would say in the second half of my career, I would say most, especially since I've become a mother. I know you would be proud of how I've taken the lessons that I've learned by being a very young and I would even say narcissistic business owner. And I'm not repeating those mistakes. Whew, that feels better. So in branding the health warrior, it was again not something that I came upon myself. It was really something that the people that around me saw as my gift. And it felt very good and it felt right that how I'm able to offer my my foundation of my unquenchable thirst for knowledge and wisdom in all areas of health, not in what's dictated through us or dogmatic to us in the way of traditional healing or like Western medicine. I'm not poo-pooing on Western medicine. It's just, as you can imagine, that's where my first education started. There's value in it. I don't feel there's a lot of natural health practitioners. What I find very challenging with their approach is it's all or nothing. It's either you're all natural or you're all Western medicine. And I am here to vouch and be an vouch for it's both. Sometimes we do need to treat as a means. A treat meaning more in Western medicine with drugs and prescriptions. We can intervene with those modalities while we're also doing the things like in behavioral therapy or what, I'm not claiming to be a psychologist or a doctor, but what people tend to do in cognitive behavioral therapy to change behavioral patterns. And we can do both simultaneously. It's not an either or. It's diabetes is the perfect example of that, especially type 2. It's 99.9% of the time you can handle it with diet and exercise. And there is an occasion where we might need to use medication to treat, to kind of get our insulin or blood sugar initially down into healthy levels while we're making behavior modifications. And I feel where this is really taking a pivot point of what my intention here today is where I'm combining my 20 years of experience in massage and massage therapy and personal training and holistic and sports nutrition. And you can add aromatherapy, you can add yoga into there. I mean, gosh, there's been no shortage of letters after my name, but it's not in the egoic sense because I haven't, to be honest, even though nutrition is one of the biggest things that I coach on, I haven't touched anything nutrition as far as learning in at least the last 3 years. It's all been about psychology, our shadow work integration that Carl Jung talks about, or our unconscious mind. It's all been all about psychology. Because as a creative role model, I have to understand how I'm wired as a body and as a brain and a mind and my ego. So that way I can then teach people to know how they are wired, body, mind, brain, all of those things. And that might feel a little bit abstract, but I think the benefit of how people can learn from me is that I take spirituality, I take psychology, and yes, I take elements of nutrition in there. But I can tell you what, like, I'm not here to write meal plans. or to give macros. I'm not saying I'm beyond that. I'm feeling like there's more to what I'm here to offer other than just meal plans and macros. You can go online and even use GPT and all this AI stuff, and you can Google all of that stuff. There's no shortage of knowledge out there, right? So the people that choose to come, that find me, and I believe that they are sent to me, is that there are so many different elements to our life, different areas of our life that impact the choices that we make with our nutrition and with our fitness health. Like, health isn't just macros in your effing workout program. Health is more than just an absence of illness. There are so many different elements of someone's health that they really take for granted and don't really fully understand the breadth and the depth of. And that's what I feel, that's what I know I am here to do at this point. I'm here to teach through love, by loving myself, by loving the people that I work with, that choose to bring me into as an integral part of their health journey. And my intention moving forward is, how I know that this time is different is because, again, in some abstract thought, I'm coming upon what they call the Uranus opposition. This is what most people call their midlife crisis. It gets a bad rap. But I know the area of my life where this is happening in is in my vocation, in my public life, and how I am anchoring in the courage to show up more consistently for the people that can benefit from not my knowledge, not my little self knowledge, but my larger self, my capital S self, by being able to share the wisdom that is coming to me and through me, right, from my trial and error process of my health. And even more recently, in the last year, I've had a bout of pretty intense gut health that I've had to learn from. I have not had in growing up in my first 30 years, I did not have a very vibrant immune system. All of the habits and rituals that I have in my daily life now is an effort to keep my immune system as healthy as possible. I might not always succeed. I might get derailed, or my unconscious or my shadow might pull me off track. And that's okay, because it's for my awareness to oh, I am off track. I need to recalibrate and come back on center. How I know that this is different this time is, one, normally when I teach, if I'm not feeling grounded and centered, a lot of people, when they go public speaking, they get sweaty armpits. I haven't felt that sense at all while recording. I haven't felt shortness of breath. I'm listening to the signals within my body, and I'm feeling, and how I know this time is different is that I've put my money where my mouth is. And in the last also 6 months or longer, I've been working with a human design coach. Her name is Sam Zagar, that she has really helped me love and appreciate myself in a very humble and in a way of genuine humility. And I've solicited her help in help me strategize on how to move forward with the vision that I've been given of what I desire to create for myself, my family, and those that choose to be students and or mentees of mine. So, yeah, I feel it is different this time. And I hope that you feel the difference this time. I'm not going to be perfect at it. I'm going to make mistakes. Trust me, I will be the first one that will call myself out. And I appreciate the grace that you've given me in showing a little bit more of myself and my desire to bring this vision that my creator has given me that lives here, that I know I will, with your help, that I will create for the betterment of humanity. There's no specifics on what that looks like right now. It's all a felt sense. It's all a feeling. It's all a vision of mine. And by being in this light, I know that it doesn't dim anyone else's. Rather, it gives you permission to shine more brightly yourself. I feel this transmission is complete. I love you all, and I will see you all soon.